The NOLAnerdcast coverage of San Diego Comic-Con 2016 is made possible to you by Versus Gaming and Cricket Wireless. Hey everyone, it's Matthew here from the NOLAnerdcast here at San Diego Comic-Con with Gary Phillips, the man bringing us... What?
No, nothing. Go. No.
I'm so confused. He's bringing us Vigilante Southland to DC Comics. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Matthew. How are you?
I'm first of all, I'm intimidated by your amazing voice. Like, I feel like you should be doing like voiceovers.
I've done a little bit of that. Yeah.
Have you really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a family voice. My son's voice is deeper than mine.
Yeah. So it doesn't even register to human ears? Is that?
That's right. It's like Black Bolt. That's right.
Nice. So what can you tell us about this book? I know it's an upcoming miniseries with DC, bringing back Vigilante, but reimagining it for today's current climate, social climate.
There you go. That's perfect. That's right. There you go. This iteration of Vigilante is Donnie Fairchild, 20-something young black man who lives in South Central LA, or South LA, I guess is the politically correct term these days. And that the social political stuff is sort of there, but listen, I mean, my job is to entertain. I think it's a great read. I'm a crime fiction writer, and so that plays, or those strengths play to how the story unfolds in the miniseries, as well as then I think his journey from being a kind of slacker, get along kind of guy to somebody who now has responsibilities once he puts on that mask.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they might not know that you aren't strictly comics. You come from a crime background.
Right.
So how'd you transition?
Not as a practitioner of crime.
The writer of the crime.
Really crime fiction.
The crime fiction background.
That's right.
So how did you transition from one to the other?
Well, I think it helps that this is not my first foray into comics, so but you're right, it's always an education for somebody who I think comes from prose to understand that comics is a visual medium. I think it also helped that I've, like everybody in Hollywood, I've knocked around and written TV and film scripts, and so I think that helps too in the sense of you want to think visually. Obviously, I want to be able to communicate to the artists what it is that a panel should look like, what's the action in the panel, what's that frozen bit of time that we want to capture, but obviously how all that works together to tell the story, because comics is about pacing and ultimately writing is about pacing. So I think both of those are factors that I think about a lot. And listen, I'm a comics fan. I've been reading comics since I was a kid, so for me it's always about what do I do best to tell the story in a visual way, understanding that my words are going to be part of it, but understanding that it's really the visuals that got to tell the story.
So what you're saying is, unlike these other people, you are just better than them because you have much more experience, and therefore your book is going to come off that much more authentic.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I was reading between the lines.
I was reading between the lines.
You are way too humble to ever say that, but that's what I'm here for.
Well, I like the authentic part. Hopefully that people will feel that this is an authentic book, in the sense that we thread that needle between being a superhero book and a crime fiction story and a crime fiction book, and trying to meld those together and really make a street level kind of superhero book.
And you know, DC, that's one of the things that they don't have very much of, is the street level book. And it's all about more the grandiose superheroes, and so that's a really cool thing that you get to come in and fill that gap.
Well, listen, and all props to Dan Didio, who he and I have been talking about this idea for a while, and when he finally sort of greenlit the notion. And I've been working with Jamie Rich, and Jamie I've known for some time, and Jamie's my editor on the book, and Jamie himself has written crime fiction, and so all those things have frankly just worked together to make it a great experience.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, because we're from New Orleans, so
okay.
Very cool. The whole social commentary and that aspect of it hits home for us,
right,
because it's part of life,
right.
And so it was really cool to read that is the kind of story coming out. And I understand it's not going to be the focal, but it's going to be there, and that's important.
Right.
So
that's right.
Good. That's
right.
I mean, that's not really a
Well,
question.
good.
Basically, it's just like as someone that comes from a city like New Orleans,
right,
we greatly appreciate that is going to be part of the comic book.
Good. Well, hopefully that comes across. And as you're just sort of talking about that, and the idea we're using, real locations that not just Los Angeles, but Southeast LA, parts of the Southland that people don't normally see.
That's why it's called Vigilante.
There's Southland. There you go.
Southland.
There you go, baby. That's right. Very good. You're on it. So exactly right. But exactly right. So that stuff is there. It's the world in which he exists. It affects him in a certain way. Not to say that he's not a particularly political guy. His girlfriend is the political one. She's the one that pays the price for her quest for justice, and he's the one that takes up that mantle.
All right, and I guess my last question is, are there any ties to the previous Vigilante incarnations?
There are a few Easter eggs for the observant reader to pick up on, both visually from both the Greg Saunders version, the Adrian Chase version, as well as there's a few other both visual clues, and there's a few parts in the narrative where you'll see some of those tropes embodied now in this new version.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to end with the hardest hitting question we have. I don't know if you can handle it, so prep yourself.
All right.
Choose in your heart of hearts, what wins, cake or pie?
That's great. Okay, believe it or not, pie. Apple pie.
That's why we came to talk to you. I had a feeling that you were smart and that you knew the correct answer.
That's
so
hilarious.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
To the cake people. That's great.
No.
Okay,
No,
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he doesn't? Oh, okay. All right.
no, the cake people are scum, okay?
He was like, you win, you lose.
That's hilarious.
Thank you so
And
much
by
for
the way, I'm
taking the
going to be in
time.
New Orleans in September, BoucherCon, the big
Yeah.
annual mystery convention is down.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're good people like that. So,
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.